A major cooldown and a return to winter is being projected for the east. We could see a return to snow in the Ohio Valley and even potentially down towards the southeast with this pattern shift. Now, this is still an outlook, but right now we're going to get into why this is being projected. Over the next week or so, we're going to be in what we call a zonal flow pattern. That is when our jet stream is moving straight across the country from the west to the east coast, bringing below average temperatures to the north and above average temperatures to the south. This type of pattern is why over the next week to two, we're expecting most of our snowfall up here through the Pacific Northwest, the Northern Plains, Northern Midwest, and inland New England. Where you see these red and blue isobar lines meeting, this is where we're going to see a steeper temperature and pressure gradient. Simply put, this allows for lift along this line and the ability to generate storms. But again, that snow is going to fall on the cold side or the north side of this pattern. But something is happening up to the north here in our Arctic. We can see very warm air beginning to build up. This can help us to develop a high pressure over the Arctic, in turn slowing down our polar jet. As we talked about before, this polar jet when it's fast can act as a force field holding in that cold air around the Arctic. But when it slows, it can begin to weaken and dip down to the south, bringing with it that very, very cold air. And that's what the European sees happening as we get late into the second week of February. We can see this reflected in our European ensemble Arctic Oscillation. As you can see here, as we approach the end of the second week of February, this really begins to dip negative. At the same time, we notice a dip in our North American oscillation. The North American oscillation begins to go negative when our Icelandic low and Azores high pressure gradient weakens. Watch as we approach this time frame, we see a steep pressure gradient out here in the Atlantic, and suddenly that pressure gradient is non-existent. This type of pattern will allow for blocking up to our north and east, typically leading to a more active winter storm track out east in the US for a period of time. This is why our European model sees the potential for multiple winter storms out east as we move into the second half of February. Now, I will say our GFS has a slightly different outlook. It wants to keep us in that zonal flow for a little bit longer. Although our European model, especially in winter and in these latitudes, does a little bit better with our cold air troughing patterns. But you guys know I will keep you updated as the data changes and as the model runs come out. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this type of content, feel free to throw me a follow or sub. I make posts like this every single day and I stream every single night. I'll see you in the next video.